Kieth Crossley has been a member of Toastmasters for 3 weeks. Wow. He is sharing his second speech titled
Swear word.
Glasses on. The C word.
Swear word.
The swear word. Thank you. The swear word that begins with B. The swear word that begins with B. Kieth Crossley, please welcome.
There is a swear word that begins with the letter B. It rhymes with the word which. I'm imagining everyone knows what word I'm talking about. Webster's dictionary defines that word as a female dog or a malicious, spiteful, or overbearing woman. I have only called a woman the B word one time in my entire life, and I said it to a complete stranger. Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, have you ever heard the voice inside that tells you to stand up for what's right? Sometimes that voice whispers, sometimes it shouts. But the only way others can hear it is if we have courage to speak up. I was in line at the bank one day when I noticed a young blonde woman who was being very loud up at the teller station. I overheard her say to the teller, "You've counted it 3 times and you still can't get it right. Do you not know how to count? I can't believe they let you have a job here." I sat there and thought to myself, how can she treat someone that way? Have you ever heard the voice inside that tells you to speak up for what's right? I waited in line and I thought to myself, someone should really say something to that woman. But it's not going to be me. Half of me wanted to say it because you can't treat people that way, but the other half of me thought, it's not my business. I mean, if I'd come to the bank 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, I would have missed the whole thing anyway. And no matter how hard that poor teller was trying to make her happy, she just kept going after him. She said to him, "You're still missing 93 cents. I can't believe they let you have a job here. You're incompetent." Then it was my turn to go up to the teller station right next to this woman. And the little voice inside, instead of whispering, shouted. And it said, "You have to say something." I turned and I faced the woman and I looked her right in the eye and I said, "Why are you being such a bitch? I've listened to you be so mean to this poor teller who's done nothing but try to help you. Over 93 cents. Shut up!" And then I realized that the voice hadn't told me what might happen after that. The woman was very flustered. She was not expecting that to happen. She started gathering all her things, and she looked at me unsure, and then she walked away before she even finished her transaction. But before she got out the bank door, she turned and she screamed at the top of her lungs, "F you!" But it was the unedited version. And by this point, everyone in the bank is staring at me and this woman. I waited a few minutes inside the bank to let things cool off before I walked to my car. I walked outside the door, and sure enough, there she was. She was sitting in a silver pickup truck just waiting for me like a hungry lion. I looked her straight in the eye defiantly, and I walked to my car, which at the time was very inconspicuous and it was not memorable. A giant Hummer. I got into my car and I pulled onto State Street. I look in my rearview mirror and sure enough, I see the silver truck start to follow me. Not about to be bullied, I pulled into a nearby Walmart parking lot and I drove to the very back corner where there were no cars. She followed. I slammed my car in park, I opened my door and I began walking towards her truck and I went, "What?" She backed away and I thought, all right, she finally got the message. Have you ever heard the voice inside that tells you to stand up for what's right? I got back onto State Street and I look again in my rearview mirror. No silver truck, no silver truck, but then silver truck. This time she tried to follow me from a distance. This woman was relentless. Have you ever heard the voice inside that tells you made a terrible mistake by speaking up? A quarter mile further up State Street, I pulled off onto a quiet side road. And I stopped right in the middle of the road and I waited. I looked in my rearview mirror and sure enough, a few seconds later, the silver truck pulled onto the side road. Much to her surprise, I had my car in reverse and my giant Hummer was barreling towards her at full speed. She freaked out. So she did the fastest three-point turn you've ever seen. She sped off, and I never saw the woman I called the B word ever again. I didn't know how crazy the blonde woman at the bank was going to be that day. But I did know that the way that she was treating another human being wasn't right. I could have ignored the voice inside and let the teller continue to suffer. I could have ignored the voice inside and saved myself the stress of being followed by a psychopath. But that's not what voices are for. Have you ever heard the voice inside that tells you to stand up for what's right? Sometimes the voice whispers. Sometimes it shouts. But the only way other people are going to hear it is if you have the courage to speak up. I'd call her the B word all over again. Madam Toastmaster.